Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Ainsworth, and we're going to get into a continuation of our last lesson by talking about how to multiply or rapidly multiply by 15, but this time we're going to extend it to 1.5, 0.15, 150, 1500, etc. Any number in the form of a 15. All right, so let's review first. Okay, in my last lesson here, we took, let's get an example here. We took a number like 18 and we multiplied it by 15, and then we did it in a three-step process. Okay, we we multiplied the number by 10 first, and so we take 18 times 10, we get 180. So you multiply by 10 first, and then we took half of that, and half of 18 is 9, so half of 180 is 90. And so we took half of that product there, and we got 90. And then the third step, we add the results. All right, and we got a total of 270 here. So let's check that. And we also checked our work as we go. Okay, and we got 18 times 15 is 270. So what we did, let's go over the method one more time, because again, this is a new lesson, right? Our method is we first, all right, we multiplied by 10. Secondly, we took half the product. Okay, third step is we added the results. Okay, in this case, when we take a number multiplied by 1.5, we need one additional step, which is to shift the decimal, okay, depending on where the decimal is. Shift the decimal. So it's the same thing as what we did in our last lesson here, except we have to modify the result depending on the number that we're working with. All right, so let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's take a few more examples and go through it. Okay, so let's take 1.5, not 15, but 1.5 or 1.5 times 66. All right, the very first thing is you ignore the decimal first. Okay, I'm going to put that in parentheses here. So ignore decimal at first. Okay, so ignore the decimal here. We're going to multiply 66 by 10, and that's 660. All right, we are going to take half of that, and half of 600 is 300, and half of 60 is 30, so that's 330. So we took half of the product, half of 660 is 330, and then third step, we add the results, so we get 990. All right, and then the fourth step, we got to adjust it, and I see one digit to the right of the decimal here, so let me highlight that. So since we have one digit to the right of the decimal, we have to adjust it, and we have to shift it back left one place, as you can tell. So my answer is not 990, it's actually 99. All right, we take 1.5 times 66, and you get 99, see? So I want you to check as you go to make sure you're doing the right thing. All right, so you step it out at first, and pretty soon as you step it out on paper, you're going to be able to do this in your head. All right, believe it or not. It always happens. Okay, so let's try it again one more time. All right, a bunch more times so you can get some experience here. All right, so let's take 1.5 times, I don't know, 45, let's say. All right, because sometimes the number's not uh, even, like 66, maybe odd, so who cares? Whatever it is, go for it. So multiply by 10, so ignore the decimal, multiply by 10, so 450. Half of that, half of 400 is 200, half 50 is 25, so 225. All right, add the results. So 400, 200, 600. 50 and 25 is 75. All right, and then since there's one digit to the right of the decimal, you adjust it. All right, 67.5. And then you check it. All right, come on, calculator. 1.5. Give my calculator a chance to catch up here. There we go. One. Come on. Hang on, technical difficulties here. There we go. So 0.5, there we go, times 45. All right, 67.5. It's not that hard, so let's practice a few others here. Let's say that we are taking not 1.5, but let's say 150, let's say. So if we take 150 times, let's say 28, all right, we ignore the zero now, okay? Ignore the zero temporarily. So we take 280, or excuse me, 28 times 10, which is 280. I'm thinking about the answer in my head. All right, I take half of that. Half of 200 is 100, and half of 80 is 40, so 140. I add the results. 200 and 100 is 300, plus 120, that's 420. And now I have to adjust the decimal to the right because it's not 15, it's 10 times as big, right? So I have to adjust the decimal here and I have to go right one place. And so my answer is not 420, it's actually 4,200. Okay, 4,200. So you got to adjust the decimal to the right one because there's a zero here, guys. It's not 15, it's 150, it's 10 times bigger. So you have to shift the decimal right, okay? Shift decimal right because, well, it's 150, it's 10 times bigger. All right, let's double check that. Let's take 150 here, all right, multiply by 28. Oh, look at that, 4,200, okay? So you check as you go and you get some practice, okay? Let's do it a couple more times. All right, let's say that we have 1,500 now times 32, let's say. All right, so ignore the zeros temporarily. So 32 times 10 is 320. Half of that is 160. Add the two, you get 480. Okay? But since there's two zeros here, we're going to have two more zeros here. And then you get 48,000. So you have to adjust. And then you check. All right? 1,500 times 32. You get 48,000. Look at that. Now, it even works if it's a crazy looking decimal. So let me just do one more example and then you can try it. Okay? Suppose you have 0.15 times 19, let's say. All right? So you ignore the decimal temporarily. So ignore the decimal temporarily. You take 19 times 10, which is 90, 190, excuse me. All right? Half of that is 95. Half of 100 is 50, and half of 90 is 45. 50 plus 45 is 95. Then you add the two, you get 285. And then because there's two digits to the right, you got to adjust the decimal right here, two digits left. So you got to shift the decimal two places left. Shift two places left because it's 0.15 and not 15. Okay, and then you check your results. So 0.15 times 19 is 2.85. See? So it's not that bad. You just get some practice and make sure that you do it always mentally first, and then check with a calculator. You have to do it in that order because if you just use your calculator, you won't get any good and you won't develop your mind. Okay, you develop your fingers. All right, you don't want to develop your fingers, you want to develop your mind. Okay, so do it mentally first and check with the calculator and give it a go. All right, and let's build up skills, and I'll see you in my next lesson. This is Ainsworth signing off. See you then.